Hi, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to talk about iOS and Android, how Apple is innovating, and still people feel that there is no innovation in the world of Apple since Steve Jobs passed away. But I feel there is some innovation going on behind the scenes. So let's talk about that today. Welcome. So I would like to start by saying that there is a very small thing that I noticed, which is very important to certain people. I noticed the app quality of an iOS is much better than the similar app on an Android. For example, like if you use the camera in the Instagram app on an iPhone, the quality of the photo will be much better as compared to the Android counterparts. And very small thing like an audio message on a WhatsApp, if you use a lot of audio message, which I personally do, I noticed that from different Android phones the quality varied. Some were really great, some were decent, some were really bad. However, with an iPhone, the audio quality was amazing. The reason behind this is that in the last year there were 1000 roughly 1000 Android phones that came out. On the other hand, there were only 3 iPhones that came out. So for a developer to make an app for 3 phones is much easier than making it for 1000 different phones, which have different specifications, different processor, different RAM, different screen size, and everything. So that is something which I noticed, and I feel that this is something which is much better on an iOS as compared to the Android phone. Also, the iOS feels much polished as compared to an Android. Android feels all over the place. When I use iOS, it feels like everything is screwed together very nicely. I have used Android as well. I've used some Samsung phones, high-end flagship phones like Note or the Galaxy S10, and other phones like Samsung Tab, and some cheap phones like Xiaomi and stuff. And I have had my share of Android experience, but I always bounce back to the iPhones. Also, whenever the Samsung Note series comes out, my heart goes out to it. I've bought 3 or 4 of the Note series. The maximum time I've used is the Note 2, and that is one phone that I really like. I mean, the Note series which comes out every year, I love the Samsung Note series. That is, if I ever switch to Android, that is my go-to phone. But as you can see, I have the Apple ecosystem, so I'm pretty comfortable with this setup. I'm still using my iPhone 4S. Trust me, it is working absolutely fine, and it is sometimes a lifesaver as a secondary phone. And I edit my videos on iMovie, which is a free software from Apple. I'm recording this video on an iPhone XS Max, so I don't have a separate camera. My audio is being recorded through the Apple AirPods Pro. So as you can see, it's a great setup. I didn't have to buy anything in particular to start my channel, and I already had these gadgets and I'm just using them. So I am a big time Apple fan. There are a lot of debates and arguments between me and my friends and cousins who are Android fans. But I have also used a lot of Android phones as my primary and secondary phones. The next thing I wanted to talk about was that the iPhone is very simple. If you want to buy a phone for your mom or your dad, or anybody who's not who's not a power user or just wants a phone for the basic stuff, you give an iPhone to anybody, like a child or your parents, and they will figure it out in a day. However, Android is a little more complicated. The reason behind this is that Apple will customize your phone and give you very less options to choose from. And the preset settings that they do on your phone will suit 80 to 90% of the users. In my experience, I have asked a lot of people over the years, and only 10 to 15% of people said that they wanted to customize more. However, most of them said that they were very happy with the preset settings and they didn't like so many options on the Android. Free updates is next big thing. Very smooth updates, very free, very easy to update. Just press of a button. And recently, the new updates that Apple brings out are supported by phones that came out 5 years ago. This is something really good that they're doing. And the last update that they brought out was so amazing that it made the app size much smaller. So similar app, same quality, everything same, but the app size became smaller with the update. So you can imagine the power of the updates. The next amazing thing in the world of Apple is their chips that they are making. Now they are slowly migrating to their own chips, as they said in the WWDC. But the chips, as they say, are much stronger than some of the laptops out there. They claim 80% of the laptops out there are less powerful than the latest iPhone. So the chip that they use is really amazing and very powerful. Also, when you use an iPhone, there are more accessories available in the market. Same logic, a less iPhone. So, for example, a case maker will make more options for an iPhone as regard in comparison to and if you want to make something for an Android phone, there are 1,000 different phones. So you will have to choose which phones are selling more, and as compared, if you go to the market or if you go online, you will always find more accessories easily available for an iPhone. The next very innovating thing that I the next thing that I want to talk about is that when the Apple started on an iPhone 10, when they brought out the notch, it was at that time a big step towards innovation. No other phone had a notch, and within 6 months, almost every phone had a notch. Now they still have the notch is something which I don't like, but at that time it was a big step towards innovation. Also, small things like Face ID, unlocking your phone through Face ID very securely, was very innovative. Also, the live photo, a small feature like live photo, it adds so much to my memories. When I click pictures, when I go on holidays, I click pictures. A live photo is something that now I can't do for them. And Apple was the first to bring it. Then the AirPods, people made fun of it. Now every company is making earphones based on the AirPod design, with a case and with a chip inside. First company to think of putting a chip inside headphones, and the pairing process. You open the box and it pairs. I mean, that is fabulous. Also, one thing that I don't like about Android is there are multiple apps for the same thing. For example, if I'm using a Samsung phone, there is a Samsung Play Store and then there is an Android Play Store, like a Google Play Store. Then there is a Notes application. There will be one Samsung Notes, then one Google Notes. So multiple applications for the same thing. That is something I really don't like on Android phones. Also, a small feature like people sending you photos and videos over WhatsApp. In iPhone, you can turn it off. What you want to save, you can manually save, and the other things will remain in your WhatsApp, but it will not be saved to your gallery. On an Android phone, everything will be appearing in your gallery, and that is something I really don't like. And lastly, what I want to talk about is the integration. For example, I'm using this MacBook and iPhone XS Max. I copy a sentence on my MacBook and I paste it on my iPhone, and it doesn't even take more than a second, and it is so well integrated that somebody who's using the Apple ecosystem can understand. And still, it is 2020. I don't see any other company that has its products so well integrated. that is all I wanted to talk about today. Also, there are some news coming that the new iPhones will not include a charger and a hand-free. I think they're preparing the customers for next year, and eventually, like Steve Jobs said, that he wants to bring out a phone which doesn't have any ports whatsoever. So I think that is another step towards that. Also, I feel the chargers that come in the box are very slow, and most of the people who regularly buy iPhones have a wireless charger or maybe a quick charger, sorry, a fast charger. So I feel that this is one step towards the ultimate goal of a phone which has no ports whatsoever. Thank you so much.